People don't just wake up and decide to disrespect you. You teach them how to treat you through subtle habits you don't even notice. You laugh when you're uncomfortable. You talk too much. You overshare. And every time you do, you lose a little more respect. In this video, we'll break down 7 terrible habits that instantly make people dismiss you and how to destroy them using the wisdom of the Stoics. If you're tired of being overlooked and ready to command respect without saying a word, let's begin. Habit number 1, over-explaining yourself. Seneca said, "A wise man is happy with himself." But every time you over-explain something, every choice, every word, every action, you show that you're not happy at all, that you want someone else's praise to fill a hole in your heart. It might look like a nice and humble thing to do to say too much, but it's not. That's a sneaky way of begging. It's smelly from a mile away. This habit doesn't come from being weak. Most of the time, it starts with good intentions. You want to keep people from getting confused. You want people to think of you as fair, thoughtful, and smart. In that case, give reasons. Then give more reasons. Then a message to follow up and make the first word clearer. As soon as you start, you've dug a hole so deep that your first point is lost. You've given the listener power and are asking them to support you without saying it. And even if they don't turn you down, they already see you as someone who needs to be accepted. People value things that are certain. They do what is right. They believe what is clear and doesn't need to be defended. You sound less sure of yourself as you talk. People will think you aren't sure of yourself more if you sound less sure of yourself. And nobody will respect someone for long if they don't respect themselves. What began as an attempt to understand quickly turns into a reflection of your own fear. And people start to think of you as weak, even if they don't say it. It is said by Epictetus, if you want to get better, be happy to look clueless or stupid about things that don't matter. To put it another way, don't spend time defending everything you do. Don't make yourself sick by trying to be right in the eyes of people who don't care. Accept that people will not understand you. It's not a danger. You need to be able to control yourself. Can you stay where you are without constantly looking for outside approval? Can you let what you do talk louder than what you say? People often explain too much because they are afraid of being judged. But here's the truth. People will still judge you. No matter how carefully you speak, some people will get it wrong. Some people will judge you no matter how well you think through your points. The real question is, why do you bother? Why say 10 words when 3 will do? Why fill the room with explanations when all that was needed was for you to be there? Every extra answer is like adding water to a strong drink to make it less strong. You might think you're making it easier to swallow, but what you're really doing is watering down the very thing that made it strong in the first place. People fear, respect, and remember a man more who doesn't say much but means what he says, more than someone who talks themselves into a corner trying to prove their worth. People don't want to hear your reasons. They want you to be sure. People want you to make up your mind and stick to it without any doubts. It was Marcus Aurelius who said, "Never explain yourself." People who are against you won't believe it, and neither will your friends. That's what it means to be a Stoic. Real friends will know what you mean without you having to explain it to them. And your enemies will twist what you say, no matter how carefully you say it. Do not talk to be understood. Instead, act to be felt. Let the way you act speak for itself. Let the silence of your practice say a lot. Why talk too much about the right road if you've already chosen it? Something magical happens when you stop describing everything too much. A lot of people lean in, they pay more attention, The fill in the lines are done with care. Your words are stronger. Your power grows stronger. The space between your words becomes just as strong as what you say. Why? Now you're not asking to be heard. You're just sure you will be. You don't need to be rude. You don't need to be proud. You should, however, talk like you know what you're worth and aren't willing to give it up. Being confident isn't loud. It's not noisy. The hold is where it is, in being able to stand by your choices without any defense, and know that your worth doesn't need an essay to back it up. Say what you mean. Stop giving reasons. Say what you want to say and then move on. This is who I am should be your energy. You can leave it or take it. People will respect you more if you act like you don't need it. You don't beg people to understand when you really believe what you say, when your values match what you say, and when you know you're going in the right way. You let people catch up. Acceptance is not something you chase after. You become the bar that everyone tries to reach. Stop trying to explain yourself again the next time you feel like it. Take deep breaths. Think about it. Am I doing this to get clear or to feel safe? And remember this, if you want to stay safe. No one honors a man who always needs permission to be himself. The person who just is respected. Habit number 2, laughing when you're not happy. Epictetus said, if you want to get better, be happy with being thought stupid and foolish. This is based on deep Stoic truth, since most people would rather act than be seen as awkward. They'd rather act like they're laughing than be quiet. They'd rather act like they're having fun than stand out. But you lie to yourself every time you laugh at something that's not funny. Smile when you're feeling bad, or nod your head when you're really pulling inward. Every time. Soon enough, other people will notice. They start to test you. They break the rules. They know you're not attached. You're floating, bending, and changing shapes. People won't respect you for that. It's easy to manipulate. Accept that the truth will make you feel bad. Don't laugh when someone says something that doesn't make sense. Hold on to the silence. People look up to people whose body language doesn't lie. One of the worst habits you can get into is fake laughing, which looks like kindness but is really just a way to erase yourself. You're not just laughing because you didn't like the joke. It's like you're okay with something you don't believe in. My need to belong is more important than being honest, you say. That's what people feel. People think you'll lie to get what you want, and once they know that, the respect starts to fade. When you keep smiling, even though you're feeling bad, your mind starts to break down. With each fake smile, you lose more of who you are. When someone crosses a line, a polite laugh trains your nervous system to put peace ahead of self-worth. You can't tell the difference between the real you and the act the longer you do it. The egos of other people seep into you. You do things to make them feel better, but you choke your own. As the Stoics said, the test of inner strength is not how well you can please others, but how well you can stand on your own when you need to. Epictetus wasn't telling people to be rude when he said to be happy with being thought of as stupid. He was telling them to be strong. The strength to deal with awkward silence. To stand your ground when other people want you to smile and nod. To stay true to yourself when laughter is the prize for fitting in. And that's exactly what most people give up. Their honesty, to feel like they belong. But here's the truth. Being quiet is strong. If someone makes a joke that is rude, insulting, or just plain not funny, don't answer. Don't laugh your way out of it. Hang it up. Let the stress do its thing. Because of that pain, that's the start of respect. People then understand that this person doesn't bend just to fit in. Because of that, everything changes. It's not about making a fuss. It's about sending a message. You don't have to become cold or mechanical. It means that what you say should match what you really are. There's no need to frown. You do not need to give a speech. You should be honest, though. Laugh when you really think something is funny. Smile when you're really happy. Don't fake it when you're not. Let people get to know your real answers, not the ones that have been sanitized to boost their ego. There's a weight around people whose deeds are emotionally in line with what they say. It feels heavy with them around, which is a good thing. You can tell they're not trying too hard. They're not trying to make you laugh. They're just being honest. And that brings other people in, since everyone is sick of fake. Even people who act like they're not real are hungry for truthfulness. Take a look at yourself. Stop yourself the next time your face turns into a smile you don't feel. Think about who you want to protect right now. Is it for your comfort? They're okay with it? Are you afraid of being awkward? After that, let it go. Feel free to make the moment uncomfortable. That pain is like a furnace. It burns away the weak part of you that thinks everyone should like you. And what's left? Someone who is respected even if they don't always get you. If something isn't right, don't do it. If something isn't true, don't say it. Your body language is part of that. That includes the way you speak. That includes the way you laugh. Always being true to yourself makes you strong. The world sees that you won't do things just to fit in. The right people, the ones you want to keep, will finally respect you for it. What about the rest? Allow them to hear the silence. Make them feel how heavy your truth is. If they have to, let them go, because a cheap laugh is not worth your honor. Habit number 3, telling everyone everything. People today are very interested in being transparent, but let's be honest, most of the time, it's just a cover for insecurity. You're worried, so you talk too much. When you don't feel seen, you talk more, show more, and let people know about your pain, your plans, and your fears. As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is, Seneca warned. It's not how much you say, but what you say and who you say it to. People won't respect you more if you share too much. It helps them put you in a category. It's easy to mark, box, and get rid of you. Be careful with your story. Be a secret. Don't worry when you talk. A sign of respect is when someone wants to know what you're thinking, what you're doing, and what you'll do next. People have a deep need to be seen. But if you don't control that urge, it will lead to self-harm that looks like weakness. It seems like telling everyone everything about yourself will make you more important. You talk about your goals, your hurts, your past, and your plans for the future. But the more you talk, the less people can see you. Why? Because mystery adds value, and having to reveal everything all the time takes away that value. When you tell everyone everything, you lose opportunities to make moves. You let people know how you feel before they have won your trust. You tell people about your plans before they're ready. You let people who haven't earned it carry your pain. Then you question why they don't believe in you. But how could they? You let them in without setting any rules. People don't value things that are cheap, and you sold your soul like they were on sale. It wasn't that the Stoics were quiet because they were cold. They didn't say anything because they were calm. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus all knew how important it was to keep your mind safe, because they valued being in charge of their own lives, not because they were afraid of being found out. Self-control was the most powerful thing to them. You lose power little by little when you let everyone see everything. You lose all of your feelings, and finally, not even your most important words will be heard. Also, letting other people into your mind too quickly can be dangerous. People will judge, question, and make too much noise about your goals and dreams if you share them before they're fully formed. Even worse, people start to compete with you, hurt you, or just think less of you. Not because your idea isn't good, but because you shared it with the world before it was safe to do so. You turned a holy fire inside into rumors. Also, this is not the same thing as being healthy vulnerable. When you tell someone you trust something, they have earned the right to hear it in return. When you tell everyone who will listen about your business, that's called oversharing. It's not strength. What it is a cry for approval. Most of the time, it makes people farther away instead of closer. People guess more when you don't say much. They get closer. They make guesses. They give power to your silence. People are interested in what you're making, what you're thinking, and what you have in mind. Respect comes from being amazed and interested, for the simple reason that it makes you valuable. No longer are you just a face in the crowd trying to stand out. You start to know more than they do. The person who walks quietly and talks clearly. It doesn't mean you become cold or detached. It means you mean what you say. Wait, you look. You decide who should be able to see into your private life and who just wants to watch you fail. When you get good at this, you won't give other people tools they can use against you. Don't ask people for views that you haven't earned. You stop being controlled by your need to be seen most of all. The best way to get back at someone is to not be like them, wrote Marcus Aurelius. Your enemy isn't always a person. Sometimes it's a habit. Letting anyone who smiles at you take your energy away. Getting connection and publicity mixed up all the time. The mindset that says more words mean more value. Give it up. Before you tell someone your goals, secrets, or hurts, ask yourself if they need to know. Or am I just scared of being by myself with my thoughts? If the second one is true, hold it in. Not because you're trying to hide, but to keep them safe. Because some things are stronger when no one is around. Because not every part of you is meant to be seen. Your life isn't a show. No one else can use your thoughts. Don't make noise. Be careful when you talk, and let people earn your story. That's when respect starts. Habit number 4, being too nice all the time. To be clear, being stoic does not mean being cold. It has to do with having morals. There is also a huge difference between being nice and being kind. Being kind comes from being strong. Being nice comes from having fear. The fear of not being liked. The worry about being seen as hard. The fear of being by yourself. Marcus Aurelius, who is one of the most important people in history, said, "Do not do what is wrong. Don't say something if it's not true." Easy, straightforward, not moving. That's toughness. That's being kind. That shows real care. But some nice people lie to keep the peace. Even when they don't agree, they nod. They say sorry, even when they're right, and people see it. They may smile at you, but they don't really care about you anymore. Set limits to show respect. Be nice if you want to be liked, but be clear if you want to be taken seriously. Being nice all the time is just a mask. That's the truth. People who think that if they are nice, quiet, and acceptable enough, no one will bother them, criticize them, or reject them, will wear this mask. But what it really means is that I'm ready to give up my personality to make you feel better. People won't admire you for the things you do to make other people happy after they see you do them. That's what they'll do. If you're too nice, you'll walk around on eggshells and avoid any conflict at all costs. You become easy to count on. Always friendly, always open, and always soft. People will no longer value you if they know you won't fight back or bend the rules to keep things calm. Respect doesn't grow in safe places. It grows in conflict, in the limits, with the quiet strength to say, "No, I won't let you cross that line," Seneca wrote. "He who seeks wisdom must not be driven by the opinions of the crowd." This is what he meant by this soft surrender. But that's what the person who is too nice does. They become a slave to what other people think. When they want to scream, they smile. They agree to leave when they're ready. And little by little, their real self is lost under the act. Being quiet won't earn you respect in the long run. You earn it by having morals. That means not doing what everyone wants and saying no. Keeping your line when it's not fun. Being firm and cool when you disagree, even if it makes you look like you don't belong in the room. Not because you like conflict, but because you won't give up your ideals for a little peace. The irony is that people value you less the more you try to be liked. People might enjoy being with you, but they won't trust your gut. They won't look to you for direction. People will come to you for help, comfort, and favors, but not for power, since you've shown them that you're not strong by being yourself. Being kind isn't about getting liked, it's about being honest. Kind people are honest when it's important. They don't give up when others do. They stand up for their beliefs without saying sorry. And they're friendly, not because they're afraid of being hated, but because they know they're valuable even if not everyone likes them. If you're kind, you help people when they need it, but you never let someone walk all over you just because they're used to being nice. It means you're nice, but you're not weak. In other words, you can be kind and firm when the situation calls for it. People look up to that kind of personality. It's a quiet strength. It's genuine kindness. This shows Stoic courage in motion. Marcus Aurelius didn't try to be friends with everyone while he was emperor. He was in charge by doing what was right. Right there is the model. Don't lose your meaning because you're afraid of being called mean. Don't change what you say just to fit in. Don't change who you are to fit what other people want you to be. Stop being nice in the shallow way that the world encourages if you want to be remembered, admired, and taken seriously. Tell the truth. Get strong. Be yourself, even if it makes things shaky. That way, people will always know where you stand, even if they don't like you. Because we live in a world full of masks and mirrors that earns you more respect than any smile. Habit number 5, seeking constant validation. Asking for respect is the worst thing you can do to lose it. Do not forget that when you're constantly checking your phone for replies, looking for praise, or looking for reassurance, you're not showing how valuable you are. You're making it clear that you don't have it. Again, Epictetus said, if you want to be free, don't wish for things to happen the way you want them to. Wish for things to happen the way they do. The Stoic doesn't try to get praise. He works on being good on the inside and lets the rest of the world catch up. You become attractive when you stop needing other people to approve of you. Why? You stop acting because of this. You take the lead. Standards, not responses, help you decide what to do. That doesn't happen often. So don't try so hard to be seen. Instead, become so fixed, locked in, and aligned that people can't help but notice. You send out more signs that you don't believe in yourself, the more you look for approval. When you ask someone, "Was that okay?" or wait nervously for them to answer just to feel better, you give up some of your power. You let other people decide how valuable you are and who can see your confidence. The catch is that they won't give it back to you very often. Because most people, whether they're aware of it or not, don't respect people who are always trying to please others. They feel sorry for them, put up with them, and use them. But they don't respect them. These people called Stoics knew that peace and trust must come from within. Marcus Aurelius told himself, "It amazes me that we all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about what they think than what we think. In practice, most people love themselves, but they put all of their worth in what other people think. This is the quiet trap they live in. What do I want to be today is not the first thing they think about when they wake up. What will they think of me today? That's where the rot starts. You dress for other people. That's why you talk. You write so people will like it. You can change how you look right now based on who is in the room. You get farther away from your center the more you do it, until you can't tell which parts of yourself are real and which were just made to get attention. People who bend don't get respect. It comes to those who hold on, because you are the only one in the room who doesn't need approval when you stop living by your principles. You turn into someone who does what they say, says what they mean, and doesn't blink when they're told they're wrong. People like that don't have to ask for respect. It just comes naturally to them. Sometimes being alone can be very powerful when you do good work without bragging about it, in making strong choices without asking for help. When you tell someone the truth, even though you know it will make them feel bad, that's the way of the Stoic. Not flashy or loud, but strong. But you have to be ready to let some people down to get there. Understand that not everyone will agree with you when you tell the truth. Some people will think it's cocky. It will make some people feel scared. Let them. The Stoic doesn't change their plans because of noise. He goes with reason. He doesn't change. By doing this, he gains respect that lasts longer than any trend, comment, or short-lived compliment. What can you do to stop looking for approval? First, make your life so that you don't need anyone to see it. You're okay with being alone. You tell yourself that what you're worth is not a group project. You ask yourself tough questions like, would I do this if no one saw? If no one clapped, would I still say this? If I didn't get any comments, would I still be this person? That's where real truth starts. Because you live your life differently when you base it on your ideals instead of what other people think. You're not as scared when someone doesn't agree with you. No longer do what you do just to be seen. You're in charge not because you want praise, but because you no longer need it. Other people can't help but respect that kind of inner calm, the kind that doesn't need, bend, beg, or demand. People will feel your weight even if they don't agree with you. These people will know that you are one of the few people who can walk alone without getting lost. If you're sick of waiting for other people to tell you who you are, stop. Build up the kind of self-respect that doesn't change based on comments, likes, or quiet, because you become undeniable the moment you stop having to be shown proof. Habit number 6, talking too much. Someone once said, better to trip with the feet than the tongue. Even so, most people trip over their words every day because they talk too much. It's everywhere. People who talk over you, people who take over talks, people who think that space means value. But what's the truth? Power knows when to be quiet, not clear. Do it right. You lose your edge when you talk too much. People can question you, fight with you, and change what you say. But every word hits like a hammer when you speak less and only when you need to. Be very careful with what you say. Learn how to control your words. Let other people show you their weaknesses while you keep your strength hidden in quiet. There is noise everywhere these days. With all the social media, group chats, and alerts that come at you all the time, it's easy to fill every void with words. But the Stoics knew that real power doesn't come from how much you say, but from how well you say it and when you say it. Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break. It stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. Marcus Aurelius told himself. Simply put, Don't get upset or shook up, and don't feel like you have to speak just to be heard. Not only does talking too much drain your energy, it also makes you seem less present. When you talk over other people, they don't have a chance to participate or add, and they quickly stop listening to you. Even worse, the more you talk, the more likely it is that someone will use something you say against you. Once you say something, you can't take it back. They can be changed, misunderstood, or used as weapons. But silence is a stronghold. It keeps you safe. It makes people fill in the blanks, which shows what they really think and want. He said, "Since we only have one mouth and two ears, we can listen twice as much as we speak." People who can listen well are instantly admired, as it is a skill that is quickly becoming lost. You can learn new things when you listen carefully. You know what's going on behind the scenes, and you answer, not just react. That calm answer is important because it shows you're not acting on impulse or trying too hard to make a point. Every word you say should have a reason for being there. It's just noise if it doesn't add value, make your case stronger, or make your stance clear. You need to be very clear with your words, like a sharp blade, cutting through the noise and getting to the heart of the problem. People will be able to guess what you're thinking if you say less. You become a secret, and mystery gets people's attention. At first, it's hard to practice verbal control. You could feel weird. You might worry that people will think you're not interested or friendly. However, people who value knowledge will understand the strength of your silence. They'll see that being present doesn't mean filling up space. You let how calm you are say it all. When you do speak, your words will hit like a hammer, strong, clear, and hard to ignore. Learn how to stop, breathe before you answer. Don't feel the need to fill every empty space. Look at, pay attention, then answer with purpose. Guard your strength behind your quiet and watch how people move around you. They will respect you more than people who talk a lot. In the end, it doesn't matter how loud or often you speak. What matters is how much respect you gain by being careful with your words and only speaking when it matters. Habit number 7, always being available. Seneca said, "Be around people who will make you better." But if you're always there, always willing to help, you get to know them. Easy to guess. Also, being reliable isn't useful. It's easy to forget. Conflict is what people want. They value limited resources. When you have to watch your time, being there is a gift. People know when you go away to work, grow, or focus in peace. But you stop being interesting when you're always there, always texting, and always showing up when you're not asked. You become unnecessary noise. Take care of your plan. Watch out for your appearance. Stop being the person everyone calls in an emergency. Do not act like Google. Forget about being their therapist. You're not some fun for them. Formidable. The only condition is that you must behave like one. There is a hidden danger in being too available in a society that praises being busy and the hustle. You send the message, "My time is yours to command," when you say yes to everything. Drop everything for everyone and answer every call or message right away. And while that might sound like kindness, it lowers your worth. People start to think that being available is a right, not a fancy thing to have. Since you're always there, they stop appreciating it. Stoics knew how powerful it was to choose not to be present. Seneca wrote a lot in his letters about how important it is to be alone and work hard. He did not run around trying to deal with all the distractions. Instead, he set aside time to think, read, and grow wise. By doing this, he became stronger on the inside and the outside. Others never took his presence for granted because they didn't take it lightly. People start to expect you when you're always ready. Predictability makes people bored. Disagreement is interesting. Wanting things they can't always have makes people happy. They like things that feel exclusive and hard to get. You lose your sense of value if you're always reachable. You're just another sound in the background of all the other noise. Even worse, being open all the time breaks down your boundaries and drains your mental energy. Instead of being proactive, you become reacting. You have to deal with other people's emergencies, needs, and responsibilities all day. You lose charge of your life and your plans. Through time, that weariness becomes clear. People can tell when you're overworked and start to doubt your power and dependability. People who treat their time like a valuable resource deserve respect because it is important. Feeling free to say no is what it means. This means putting what's important ahead of what's urgent. It means giving yourself room to think, rest, and grow. Because being everyone's go-to will wear you out and keep you from giving your best. It doesn't make you cold or selfish. It means you make a choice. You are picky about who gets your time and energy. Setting limits helps you keep your peace and stay on track with your mission. And you show up fully with all of your power, attention, and presence. Alexander the Great told them, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good man should be. Take a stand. When you're a force, you value yourself enough to keep your time safe." It means being aware that your presence is power and that power should be used wisely. Starting today, if you say yes too often out of habit or fear, you might want to think about it. Know that every yes you say is a choice, and each choice you make affects your future. Do everything you can to keep your plan safe. Don't be the person that everyone counts on to help them out in an emergency. We can't use you because you're a natural force. Forces also do more than appear. They lead. They decided the rules. They pick when to show up and when to go away. They show up with a plan and make an impression that lasts. Do that force thing. Carefully watch your time. Watch out for people. Additionally, notice how respect flows easily to people who put themselves first. One big mistake doesn't make people dislike you. You lose it little by little, habit by habit, until you understand that people aren't listening. They're just putting up with it. They aren't interested in you. They're not drawn to you. We didn't learn to follow the crowd from the Stoics, though. They showed us how to be leaders. One thing that Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca all said was true. If you control your mind, you control your world. So make a list. What habits are you still holding on to? Too much explaining? Please everyone? Being accessible all the time? Today is the end of it. When you stop needing other people to respect you and start ruthlessly respecting yourself, the world will follow. Do not talk. Do what you say, and make people want what you can't say with words.